In 10 years, I would start like at, 28, and then, I don't know, retire in my mid 40s.
How much money do you think you need to retire?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. How are you going to do the fire movement if you don't even know, you don't have a number set?
You do it for me?
Oh my god.
Yes, to prove that that's stupid, that what you're saying.
So I'm not going to be able to retire
Are you kidding me?
in 10 years?
Buddy, you have $0 in retirement.
Okay, but when I start making good money, then
How much money do you think you could live off on a yearly basis?
I want to travel a lot. I don't know, like 30K.
Yeah, Gen Z has lost their minds. Over the past couple years, one of the more pervasive topics has been how Gen Z has been operating in this basically unlivable economy that we're in. There's so many talking points about Gen Z being lazy, entitled, selfish, doesn't want to move out, can't grow up, all these other things. And one of the main points is that they're destined to be poor because they won't do the steps that it takes in order to become some sort of adult. Now, as somebody on the half millennial, half Gen Z side of things, I don't agree with any of this terminology. But it's always got me wondering why people are saying these things about a certain generation of people. Why are they so hard on a generation of people who have so much in front of them that is literally bogging them down and they can't survive? I mean, I bought a pack of eggs the other day and they literally took my arm and two legs. Like, a big issue is that it is hard to live in the reality of situations. I mean, the poor woman in the beginning of the video is literally spewing something that cannot exist in 2025 because of the way that she is moving and because of the way that the economic state of society is moving. I mean, her mentality is totally screwed, don't get me wrong, but trust me, the lifestyle that she's trying to maintain can only be shown on some sort of social media platform. I can see a lot of different sides of the argument, but one of the arguments that bothers me the most in this conversation, probably over anything else, is the fact that there is a whole generation of people that just don't want to work.
When asked to come in for an 8 a.m. meeting, my Gen Z new hire said, "Ugh, sorry, I can't make it. I have a workout class. Should this be allowed?"
My visceral reaction was, are you kidding me?
No, fully, like angered, typing this out. I was like, please.
Like my hand's shaking and it's not from the caffeine.
You just started this job. I don't give a flying shit about your workout class. Also, an 8 a.m. workout class is too late. Workout at 6, maybe 7.
I know it's easy to be as hyperbolic as possible, and I know for a fact that a lot of other generations are scorned by the choices that they made because they see the freedom and upward mobility and access that a lot of other generations that, come after them can have. But to come to some sort of social media platform and spew this nasty ass rhetoric about how lazy or entitled, or the fact that Gen Z doesn't want to work because they don't want to come into an 8 a.m. meeting. Most traditional corporate jobs have 9 to 5 work hours. So coming in an additional hour early, and I'm pretty sure not offering the additional hour off at the end of the day, is some sort of highway robbery. And this isn't a phenomenon that's new. There have been generations previous to this one that claim that the one that's coming right after them doesn't want to work. The baby boomers said it about the millennials said it about the Gen Zs, the silent generation said it about the baby boomers. It's happened time in and time out. Hell, you probably had slaves saying that sharecroppers don't want to work. It might just be that crazy. And there's a vast majority of reasons as to why one generation would perceive the next generation to be lazier. I mean, advancements in technology are one big thing. I don't have to, have a donkey push a plow in front of me in order for me to get my garden tilled. I don't know. I don't have to live that way anymore. I work in my computer desk and, I go to the grocery store and get my food. And I know my grandfather would be pissed if he could see me now. But another reason why they see Gen Z as being lazier than any previous generation is solely due to the fact that there is some sort of wealth inequality that exists in today's society that's bigger than it's ever been. I mean, the middle class basically no longer exists anymore. There's just the rich and then there's the poor. Now, with that being said, though, the new generation has an extreme amount of debt that can be traced back to two things. One, housing being crazy expensive, and two, education being way more costly than it ever has been. I remember my cousin telling me, a millennial who's probably on the older side of things, that she went to college at UGA and the cost of admissions was like $500 every single semester. That was literally her tuition. And I said to myself, wow, I can't even get a class for $500 today. And with basic necessities going up every day on a day-to-day basis, I mean, food, clothing, housing, cars, even the used versions of things like cars, and hell, even clothes cost an insane amount of money.
So life update. I'm living in my car. My little S10. This is me. Stay home for the foreseeable future. I don't know what to do. I toured 2 apartments yesterday. I won't qualify for them because you have to make 2.5 times the over $1,200 rent. And I don't even make the rent.
Sister, you have no idea how common your situation is. So let me get this straight. People are supposed to afford 2.5 times their average rent prices when salaries haven't increased in God knows how long. Gas prices are up, grocery prices are up, everyone's in debt. How can Gen Z survive in an era that's literally not built for their progression? And hell, this is even her having the luck to find some place to stay or somebody to talk to about, participating in some sort of housing. There are a lot of people who can't even find housing because of the current housing crisis, causing a record 52% of people ages 18 to 29 living at home with their parents. That number is the largest number since the Great Depression. Now, personally, I don't mind people staying at home with their parents. I stayed at home with my mom for a long time, literally till I was about 26 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And it was because I was able to stack money and then ultimately get into a relationship with a woman, and we were able to purchase a home. But that was because of my choice. There are far too many people who would want to move, would need to move, but literally cannot because it does not make financial sense.
Like, I'm broke and homeless at 21. But, like, that makes for such a good story. When I'm, like, super successful and rich and, like, doing so well and have so many people. I'm gonna have such a bomb starter story. It's gonna be like, I was broke and homeless at 21. And look where I am now. Boom. And it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like, wow. Go you. I just gotta make it through this part.
The reason why I chose this young woman's specific story to highlight in this video is because there is also this growing sentiment that not only is Gen Z not working, not only are they not earning, not only are they in a lot of debt, it's the fact that they do not want to progress. Now, I'm sorry, but that is just bullshit to me. This is a generation who has seen administration change that has brought everybody through the ups and downs. They've seen a worldwide pandemic shut everything down and change their views, perspectives, and just day-to-day lives. They've seen businesses, parks, regular day-to-day amenities closed left, right, and sideways. They don't have third places for them to go. They don't have the malls or the parks or anything to enjoy as a young person. And everything that would make them live some sort of normal life is rising. Now, I get it. Don't buy designer this, don't buy Jordan that, don't eat out here, X, Y, and Z. But I also believe that life is very, very hard and you should be able to treat yourself to, some of the smaller things. But the way that this world is painted now, people will have to be eating ramen noodles and sleeping in cars for a long time. It's not because they don't want to. Like this young lady said in this TikTok, she desires to be successful. She desires to be happy. She desires to do, some of the normal things that I used to enjoy in my life, like take vacations. But now we live in a world where the number of people that are planning vacations is the lowest that it's been in the last 15 years. And that's all due to expenses. And the only thing that people can look to do is blame a whole generation of people for being lazy or, entitled and not wanting to participate in normal everyday things.
Inflation, student debt, and limited room for advancement in the workplace has made them feel that milestones like affording a home, starting a family, excelling within the corporate structure are out of reach. Every generation comes and wants to do better than their parents did. But I'm sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house. I feel for everybody that feels this, but I'm sorry. We busted our behinds. We had to bust our behinds because we didn't have the option of going back.
Y'all gave us the housing crisis, though.
Listen, we had all kinds of stuff. No. Every generation is told you're going to do worse than your parents. And you know what? People pick it up and they do what they do and they raise themselves. And this is what you got to do. It's called being a good citizen.
I think that good times are coming to the forefront, mostly because people are starting to understand the plight of Gen Z. They're seeing the rising cost of things. They're finally getting into the kids' bank accounts. Hell, they're going out and they're shopping and they're trying to assist their children in doing some of the things that they used to do when they were 20 and realizing that it's pretty much impossible. So to anyone that is not a Gen Z, they're a millennial, a X, a boomer, or maybe some of the silent generation is still alive. I don't think that that's true. But if you are listening to this video, I beg of you, please don't be hard on the younger people that are out here trying to figure it out because they can't make the same mistakes or the decisions that you made when you were younger. I hear stories about how people in like a 6-month span packed up 2 times, went to school, dropped out, graduated, joined the military, came back, bought 2 cars, 1 house, rented out a studio, and had a storefront and all this other stuff from the generations where bread was a nickel. Nowadays, I'm scraping up pennies and points just to get a Chick-fil-A sandwich because it's so damn expensive. And to Gen Z, all I gotta say is just hang in there. Literally, we're all feeling it. I'm feeling it with you. Everybody's feeling it. But don't let nobody tell you that you are lazy. Keep dreaming, keep striving to be successful, and never let anybody stop you from being what you want to be.